I tell you what, these weight loss diets nowadays are becoming absolutely insane, and today we're going to look at a few of them and talk about if they're really legit or not. So go ahead and stay till the end of this video. Thank you for joining me for another great fitness podcast from All Strong Fitness. Go ahead and drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. We help individuals of all abilities improve their overall health and knowledge of the gym. We have got some really good stuff to cover in this week's podcast. We're going to talk about what you should eat after a workout and even go over a question on what happens if you eat a boiled egg every single day. This is some pretty crazy stuff, and I'm really glad you guys are here to join me with it. So the first thing we're actually going to look at for a question is what you should eat after a workout. So this person was concerned, and basically they said, what fruit is okay to eat after a workout if you want to lose weight? Is pomegranate seeds okay? Well, let's first start out with pomegranate seeds. So pomegranate seeds, you may or may not know, they're actually fairly high in calories when it comes to fruits, okay? So basically any type of fruit is okay to eat after a workout, but it will depend kind of if you are trying to lose weight or gain weight of what fruit might be the best for you, okay? So pomegranate seeds, if you're somebody who's trying to lose weight, since they do have a large amount of calories, might not be the best option to have right after your workout. Of course, you can eat them on a weight loss diet if your calories are in check and in control pretty darn well. So any fruit's okay. If you are trying to monitor calories a little more around your workouts, maybe something like berries, blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, those are a really great option, a little bit lower calories. Melons are really good too, so cantaloupe or honeydew. Watermelon, of course. Those are some kind of lower carb options for the amount of grams of fruit you would actually get. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what fruits you're consuming so long as they fit within your calorie budget. Any fruit's good. Just find fruits you enjoy and don't stress it out. I personally like getting stuff that's in season. That's something that I really enjoy. But at the same time, I every single day eat a banana, an apple, and usually some grapes or blueberries or other handful of fruit with it, and some yogurt. I don't stress out about it. I fit them into my calorie budget. That works for me, and of course, it can 100% work for you as well. So go ahead and drop a like if you learned something new from that section. Go enjoy some fruit after your workout. You won't regret it. We're gonna keep moving on here. So this individual that I found this comment on, this was something pretty neat. So science has spoken. All popular weight loss diets are the same. Okay, so is this legit? Is what this person is saying is right? Is vegan as good as carnivore, as good as intermittent fasting? What's the deal here? Well, this individual who wrote this is 100% correct. All popular weight loss diets are the same in the fact that if they are controlled for calories, which a lot of them do control for calories, it will allow you to ultimately lose weight, okay? So that is essentially why all these popular weight loss diets work, why vegan works, why Atkins works, why vegetarian works, why being carnivore works. It's because it usually eliminates certain food groups that people eat a large amount of calories in food from. So, of course, if you're in that calorie deficit, you're going to be able to greatly reduce the amount of calories in your diet and lead to weight loss. So that's the reason why they work. Another reason why they often work too is because it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it for people. People will often be paralyzed when it comes to diets on what foods I can and can't eat. So this really takes out a lot of that analysis paralysis where you are like, okay, I can only eat this for breakfast or I can only eat this for lunch. That's another great reason why diets work. The thing about this though, and that I want you to realize, is that you can eat any food under the sun. You can literally eat any food. You can eat some junk food, you can eat some healthy food. So long as your calories are in check, it does not matter what you eat, you will be able to lose weight and maintain it. The thing that these popular weight loss diets don't often get right is that they're usually not very sustainable. So can you imagine, for example, if you are somebody who is going to try low carb to lose weight, could you imagine eating low carb for the rest of your life? No. And that's why it's so hard for people to stay on these trendy fad diets, okay? These popular weight loss diets is simply because they're hard to be sustainable. So what I would recommend is maybe picking one of these weight loss diets online, try it and see if it works out for you. If you enjoy it and don't feel deprived, by all means, take it and run with it. But if you feel deprived at all, maybe try bringing in some of those foods that you really enjoyed eating, that you used to eat all the time before you started dieting, in small amounts into your diet, so long again as you're keeping your calories in check. That's a good way to kind of assess from there, and then it can evolve into your own meal plan that just works out for yourself. So that's a really great idea and something you could do for yourself, and also something that you can recommend to others as well who are going through the same protocol. So this next one is super interesting. Eating one boiled egg a day. So I was really excited to talk about this one because I think it brings an important point to the fact that there is always somebody out there trying to create absolutely crazy claims about dieting, crazy claims about weight loss, and basically saying like, if you just eat this one thing, fat will melt off your body, or if you just do this one exercise, fat will melt off your body. And this is along those same lines. So eating one boiled egg a day. So here's the deal. If you eat only one boiled egg a day, that is like 80 calories. You will legitimately starve to death at some point, assuming you don't have a large amount of extra body weight and fat on your body. If you're at a reasonable weight already, eating one boiled egg a day is going to basically kill you, okay? Eating one boiled egg on top of your normal stuff, again, isn't really going to do anything magical, assuming the rest of your diet is fine. If you're getting enough protein, if you're getting enough fat, if you're getting enough carbs, if you're in a calorie controlled budget that is suiting for your fitness goals, the one boiled egg a day isn't going to do anything particularly good. Boiled eggs have about 7 grams of protein, about 7 grams of fat. Again, they're about 80 calories, so it's not really providing anything magical. It is a decent source of protein, but it also does have a large amount of fat too. So you have to decide if that's something that you want to consume. But if anyone ever comes up to you and says, I saw this article that said I can eat X and it will allows me to lose X amount of weight, or I can drink this and it will allow me to lose belly fat or whatever extremely quickly, just listen to them and realize that they are not as knowledgeable on this as you are. And you can even ask them where they got the source from, and likely it was probably from a Facebook feed that their grandmother shared, because that's what they like to look at. So that's something to take in consideration. Go ahead and drop a like if that gave you a little bit of insight, and just helping to kind of squash some of the misinformation when it comes to dieting. So we'll keep moving on. This next one's a really good one. Gaining muscles or not losing weight, okay? So I've recently jumped on a low carb diet and have been exercising and lifting weights for almost every day for over 2 months now. I've been eating lower than MyFitnessPal recommends. MyFitnessPal is a great app to calorie count. If you're not aware, you can find it on Android and iPhone. Go check that out. I used to use MyFitnessPal a lot. I've been eating lower than MyFitnessPal recommends, around 1,700 calories, and I initially lost weight, but I've now been floating at 215 to 216 for 2 weeks, okay? So they're eating a little bit below what MyFitnessPal recommended them to do, okay? So they're probably in a calorie deficit, or at least they were. We'll talk about that in a second. And now they basically stagnated. They stopped losing weight. I lift heavy weights, do lots of cardio, eat lots of protein. That's all good. It's hard to tell if I'm making progress by gaining muscle or stagnating and not losing weight. Is this a weight loss plateau? How can I break it? Will weight loss come fast after gaining muscle? All right, so let's talk about this individual. So if they've been floating at the same weight for 2 weeks, there's a few things that could be happening. One, they absolutely could be gaining muscle and losing fat at the same time. I'm guessing since they're 2 months into their diet, that's probably not going to be the case unless their training regimen switched up a lot, where they just started to increase their weight training quite a bit. But I'm guessing that's probably not the case. So they're lifting heavy, they're doing cardio, eating lots of protein, that's great. What I'm guessing, and this is usually what happens with a lot of individuals, is that they are probably miscounting their calories. So they're saying that they're eating less than MyFitnessPal recommends. Okay, so even if they're putting in the calorie of the specific foods they're eating, they could be doing it inappropriately. As in, they could be saying that they're only eating half a cup of chicken breast or half a cup of rice, and they're actually eating 2 cups of chicken breast or 2 cups of rice. This happens all the time, and you literally cannot outwork calories, okay? This is just laws of thermodynamics, okay? It's energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, right? So at the end of the day, we need to make sure we're being more accurate with our calories, and specifically more accurate when we are counting the calories from eating them, okay? That's gonna be your biggest lever to pull when you are trying to lose weight and lose fat. And for this individual, they're asking how they can break it. It's essentially gonna be a little bit more of what's got you to this point. So a little bit more of a calorie deficit and likely a little more physical activity. There's no easy way to get around it. And that's simply as it is. You can't outwork calories. And if this person is looking at MyFitnessPal and calculating this stuff out, they should be able to hopefully get back on track really quickly. So lots of good things to take here. Please comment down below if you have any questions on this. I know this can be a very common topic, but they're probably just not doing as much as they need to. With that said, they probably are gaining a little bit of muscle, and when you do gain muscle, that won't show up on the scale as loss, obviously. So they could be gaining a little bit of muscle, losing fat at the same time. Probably not. That's the scoop for that one. So we'll go ahead and keep moving on. Hopefully you like that one. Go ahead and drop a like too if you are enjoying this so far. I'm having a great time sharing you guys some information. And again, if you have any comments on anything, drop them in the comment section. I would love to answer them for you and maybe answer them in a future Q&A. So this next individual is somebody who's looking into intermittent fasting and a simple guide to intermittent fasting. So I have a lot of videos on my channel about intermittent fasting. I even did a video about myself intermittent fasting for 10 years and my experiences, both pros and cons of it. That's on my channel. You can go find that. But let's talk about just a beginner guide to intermittent fasting, okay? So intermittent fasting is essentially where you are skipping eating during a certain portion of the day that people would normally eat at, okay? So how this normally works is people will normally do a 8-hour eating window and a 16-hour fasting window. So usually the way this looks is people will have their eating window as noon to 8 p.m. and then they will fast overnight, they will skip breakfast, and they won't eat their first meal again until noon, for example. So that's one example. There are so many different ways you can do it. You could do it from 11 to 7. You could do it from 10 to 6. You could do it from a smaller window. So you could do a 12 to 4 p.m. feeding window and then have a 20-hour fast. I've done that sometimes. But the thing about all of this is that it does not matter when the feeding window is, okay? What matters is that the feeding window works well into your life. So if you pick a feeding window that is during a really busy time and you can't eat all the calories you need for your fitness and health goals, that's probably not a good feeding window to pick for you because it doesn't work well in your life, okay? This is usually done as a way to be more convenient for people so they don't always have to think about food. I myself skip in the morning, so I usually don't eat breakfast typically, and I won't have my first meal until about 10 to noon. Sometimes I push that later just because I'm in the mood and feeling like it, but I don't stress about it. Because the only thing, for the most part, that intermittent fasting does is offer you a way to regulate your calories better. Okay, so it shrinks the amount of time during the day that you can eat your calories, of course. And as we know, when it comes to any weight loss diet, if you can control your calories, that is what's going to lead you towards weight loss. There are some emerging studies and stuff coming on about intermittent fasting helping with glucose regulation. So it improves your body's ability to regulate blood glucose better. It can improve insulin sensitivity, which is a good thing. And there's a lot of emerging stuff with this, especially with longevity and living longer in your life that's coming with intermittent fasting. But simply put, you're skipping a meal during the day. It's not magical. It is just a simple way to shrink down the overall amount of calories that you're eating in your weight loss journey. So, good thing to try out. It's not for everyone. I enjoy it, but I know my mom, on the other hand, she's somebody who likes eating 3 square meals a day. She loves eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner pretty regimented. I like being a little more loose. Again, it's totally preference and what works for you. And that's a big reoccurring theme with diets in general. So here's another interesting thing. Some oat benefits that will change your life. So this individual wrote this and I immediately saw it and was like, okay, this is interesting. So oats in general, specifically whole grain oats that are minimally processed, do have a large amount of health benefits, okay? Any whole grain has lots of vitamins and minerals in it. It has lots of fiber, and usually these whole grains, and especially with oats, you are actually, the way you cook them is in water. And when you cook them in water, you're literally soaking up the water in the oats. So it's an easy way to stay more hydrated and get more fluids in your body as well. So it's, once you cook it, of course, it's high in water, it's high in fiber, high in vitamins and minerals. That's going to be the concept of this. That's going to be why oats are so good for your health. It's not because the oat itself has some, magical benefit. It's one of many whole grains that has fiber, vitamins, and minerals. The one big plus though with oats, as I said, is that you do get some extra water in it from taking that in. On the flip side though, you could literally just eat a couple pieces of whole grain bread that's very high in fiber, high in vitamins and minerals, and then have a glass of water, and it would basically be the exact same thing as eating a bowl of oats. I do really like oats because they are extremely filling. They're easy to add protein powder into. You can add some sugar-free syrups and maybe a little bit of cinnamon as well to make it taste a little bit better. Chopping some fruit up into it is another good option. But oats are great. I'm not saying they're not, but they're also not magical and not something you need to eat if you don't want to on your weight loss diet. So go ahead, drop a like if that gave you some good value. Let's keep moving on here. So this individual was prescribed metformin for weight loss. Okay, so has anyone else been prescribed metformin off label to aid in weight loss? So this is somebody who is not diabetic. Usually metformin is prescribed to individuals who are diabetic to help regulate their blood glucose levels, okay? So if you are diabetic, you are insulin resistant, as in your pancreas does not secrete enough insulin to help lower your blood sugar when you are eating any type of carb or basically sugars in general, okay? So these types of medications help with that directly. This individual is mentally recovering from being undiagnosed, hard to get a good bump, blah, blah, blah. This was prescribed off-label. I am not diabetic, nor do I have PCOS or insulin resistance. So it's interesting. So this person was actually prescribed it just for weight loss. And the thing about metformin is that, again, it is used for individuals who are diabetic, okay? And people who are diabetic and take metformin sometimes have some good weight loss results. But this usually isn't because metformin is providing super good benefits. As we discussed earlier, metformin can help with your body's ability to take the nutrients, the blood sugar, and actually process it better, right? So that in itself can maybe give you a little bit more energy, so you're able to then push harder in your workouts. That's kind of correlation. It's not for sure on that. What's likely more of cause of the reason is that individuals who take metformin have a really nasty side effect, actually, where it kind of makes your stomach feel turned up, feel like it's turned into knots, okay? So what I would say that this person is probably experiencing is just not feeling as hungry because they have a mild stomach ache from the metformin. So, you know, again, I would never try this myself personally. I would never recommend this for myself. This is kind of similar to semaglutide and, oh man, what's the word? I can't think of the thing. Semaglutide, basically, it's something else that diabetics use in their protocol to help manage their diabetes. And semaglutide does something where it slows the rate of digestion, which of course, if you slow the rate of digestion, you're not going to be as hungry as often, you're not going to want to eat as much. So this is why on that drug as well, a lot of people get good weight loss results. I think it's very similar to this for metformin as well. I would only use it, of course, if you're prescribed it, and just try to stick to behavioral changes. So thank you so much for joining me. Go ahead, drop a like if you enjoyed this. Comment down below your favorite section of this video, and subscribe to the channel once again, as we help individuals of all abilities improve their overall health and knowledge of the gym. And once you're done doing that, I've got another fitness and health podcast right here that you would probably enjoy. It's talking all about how to count calories for yourself in your weight loss journey. So go ahead, check that out right there. I think you'd enjoy it. I'll see you next.